How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles, so to say, because we have two battles in today's video, and they're both going to be amazing, I'm sure. So today, the first battle is against Glass Shadow from the Discord server in the OU tier. Go ahead and join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles content right now. There is a link in the description down below. And looking at the team, they got a Dragapult, Tyranitar, Primarine, a Landorus, Therian, an Excadrill, and a Corviknight. So we could do some work with Venusaur here. If we can get that Tyranitar out of the way, that'd be great. We could probably do something here. I think if we lead off with Torkoal, they may lead Tyranitar to counteract our Sun. Actually, no, they'll just bring something in to counteract it, won't they? They more than likely lead with the Dragapult or the Landorus, if I had to guess. So with that in mind, is it wise to lead with something? Yeah. I think I will lead with Torkoal because it baits the Tyranitar out. And then we'll just kind of go from there. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Glass Shadow. So they're going to lead off with Dragapult as we led off with our Torkoal. So not the best matchup in the world for us. If it's Specs, Draco Meteor will sting quite a bit on my Torkoal. So I'm going to go straight into Umbreon here. I've got the Sun up. Torkoal can come out of here. We need Torkoal around. It's the only thing that can keep the Sun up outside of, when that Tyranitar's gone anyway. So we'll bring Umbreon in. Dragapult goes for Draco Meteor. We're going to eat that up because we're an Umbreon. Lovely jubbly. Gotta love it. That's some mighty fine damage resistance right there. And it's not resisted hit. I just mean, like, in general, it takes the hit really well. So we can assume they're probably Specs. And then we can also assume they're probably going to switch out here. And if I had to guess what they're going to switch into, I'd say either Primarina or maybe Excadrill or Landorus. One of the two. I think what I'll do is I'll go for a Wish because they definitely switch out. They do switch out. That's great. That's great. So what are they going to go into? Landorus. So if I could have gone for a Toxic there, I didn't want to risk the Excadrill though, because obviously Excadrill is a Steel type, making it immune to Toxic. So I didn't want to risk that, but we get the Wish up anyway, which is always nice. Which means now if we get a Pokemon in, that's actually taking some damage, then we can kind of go from there. Now I'm leaning towards seeing this thing go for a U-turn or a Stealth Rocks. So I'm going to go straight into my... What should I go into here? I suppose I could go into Venusaur. No, because Tyranitar will just come in and make my Solar Beam not one turn. I think the best thing I can switch into here is Gliscor, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think because Gliscor walls Landorus to no ends, that's for sure. And we can maybe get some spikes or something like that. So let's see how this plays out. We've got a nice and shiny Gliscor. It's the Vampire Bat. They go for a Stealth Rocks, kind of as expected. Like I said, U-turn or Stealth Rocks was going to come from it. One of the two. I could have stayed in and Toxic it really, but it doesn't really matter. So obviously our Toxic Orb is going to take effect. If you didn't know, Gliscor gets an ability called Toxic Heal, which allows it to heal itself every turn if it's poisoned. It's a pretty neat little thing. So now we know they're probably going to go for a U-turn here. I should go for a knockoff, just to knock off whatever they bring in. So they are going to withdraw. Are they going to go Primarina? I'd guess so. Corviknight, interesting switch. So Corviknight does walls. Oh, it's nice and shiny. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So we go for a knockoff on the Corviknight. So we're going to knock off a potential Rocky Helmet. Eject button. Which means that doesn't even work anymore. So they got Stealth Rocks up. I'm leaning towards thinking the Rapid Spin on the Excadrill, and then they don't have Defog on the Corviknight. So knowing this thing can't touch me, I'm going to go for a Spikes real quick. Get them Spikes up on their side of the field. It's going to damage anything that comes in unless they've got Heavy Duty Boots or are flying. So Landorus and Corviknight aren't affected. But they go for a U-turn, which is going to bounce right off my Gliscor. And they more than likely now go into the Primarina, if I had to guess. They could also obviously go into anything, really. They might go into T-Tar to get rid of the Sun. Potentially. Primarina comes in. So Primarina is a good switch. It definitely threatens my Gliscor. We got some Spikes damage at least, which is always nice. And we're going to Poison Heal that U-turn off right away. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch out. And I'm leaning towards them going for an Ice Beam over a Surf. I think they may also expect the Umbreon to come in and go for a Moonblast. So it's tricky to know what to go for here. I think I will just go with the... I don't think they'll go for a Moonblast. I think Iron Hands is the best thing to do here. Because we definitely threaten Primarina out. Now, we don't have a physical electric stab move on this Iron Hands, but we can bluff it. So if we try and bluff it, hopefully, nice and shiny, gotta love it. Hopefully they don't go for a Moonblast here. That'd be unfortunate. They withdraw. Ah, interesting. So how's this going to play out then? So they go Corviknight. So Corviknight doesn't want to stay in against us. That's for sure. Corviknight definitely doesn't stay in against us. They probably go for a U-turn into Landorus. So I'm going to make that prediction, and I'm going to go for an Ice Punch real quick. And if they're slower than us, which they shouldn't be, then yeah, they aren't slower than us. That's great. So hopefully we see a Landorus switch or a Dragapult switch. I think Landorus is more than likely. So I think I went for the right play going for an Ice Punch here. Even after an Intimidate, it'll still sting. In comes the Primarina. Interesting choice, considering we could have gone for an Electric type attack there. But we go for the Ice Punch. It still does a bit of damage to the Primarina, but it's not too bad. Now, if we assume their choice specs, we definitely want to get out of here. They probably go for a Moonblast here, or predict the Venusaur and go for an Ice Beam. I'm pretty confident we can live an Ice Beam if they're not specs. I'm pretty sure the Dragapult's specs. I'm sure the Primarina is not. It might be Assault Vest. Assault Vest is pretty common. So what we could do here is, I'm leaning towards Tera, but I kind of want to save that for the Excadrill, you know. So I think I will go with a Venusaur switch. I think Venusaur is an acceptable switch here, even if the sun goes out this turn, which it might. We still outspeed the Primarina because it's very slow. Very slow. So we'll go into Venusaur real quick. We do take a no stat. Oh, we go for a flip turn. Good predict. Good predict. So they knew we had to switch out there. They knew we had to switch out there. So they obviously had to go into that. What are they going to go into against our Venusaur, though? Probably Tyranitar. Yep, Tyranitar comes in. Now, Tyranitar is going to see this as an opportunity for... He's going to see it as an opportunity for my Torkoal to come in to reset the sand. Now, am I going to do that? Probably not. I think my best bet is to go into Gliscor, because they more than likely either predict the Torkoal switch and just go straight for a Stone Edge here, or they go for a knockoff to try and get rid of a Heat Rock. So I think Gliscor's the best switch. I don't think they go for an Ice Beam here. I don't think they do, unless they do. They go for a knockoff. So I don't mind Gliscor having its item knocked off because it's already in effect with the Toxic Heal. Poison Heal, sorry. So we should be alright here. Now the question is, what do we do now? Do we lay on some spikes, or do we go for a knockoff here? I kind of want to go for a knockoff because I feel like they switch out. So I think I will go for a knockoff here. They go for an Ice Punch, and Gliscor goes down. Is that quite... I've seen Ice Beam, but based on the knockoff data, the fact that they have knockoff and the damage it did, I kind of assumed they were banded. But I guess not. So, if that's the case, then is it best to go into Iron Hands here, or is it best to do something else like Torkoal? Body Press this thing. Body Press could be really cool. I think I will go into Torkoal. Torkoal is going to take some considerable Stealth Rock damage, about a quarter of its health. But we do get rid of the sand and get that sunlight back up, which is always nice. They more than likely go into something like Primarina here, so I'm going to go for a Stealth Rocks. I don't think they'll try and take us out with Stone Edge because we could easily Body Press. They go for a knockoff though. Interesting. So that's interesting. So Stealth Rocks comes through. We unfortunately, now that Gliscor's gone, we don't have a good switch into Stone Edge. But they had Ice. I think they go for a Stone Edge here, so I'm going to go into Iron Hands. I think that's the best thing. They haven't switched out. They're definitely probably going to go for a Stone Edge here. So we'll go into Iron Hands like so. And now we can probably, if we assume they have Earthquake, they have knockoff. So they're going to knock off for Assault Vest. I don't think that's such a big deal though. I think KOing this thing is going to be important, but I feel like Landorus does come in now. So I'm going to go for that Ice Punch again. Because they know if we live the Earthquake and Drain Punch them, we'll get all our health back. They go Corviknight. Interesting. So Corviknight is their choice of switch. So they're going to get some Stealth Rock damage. They're also going to get some Drain Punch damage. Now, we already knocked off this thing's item, so we know that we don't have to worry... Oh, sorry, Ice Punch damage. We already know we don't have to worry about that. So I think the best thing to do here is to Drain Punch away, because I feel like they go for a defog. So they're resetting the hazards. They're getting rid of the Stealth Rocks they set. Interesting. So what's a good point about this game is that they outspeed us. So if they go for a Roost to heal up now, They're going to turn into a pure Steel type, which means Drain Punch will do more damage. If you didn't know, the turn that you use Roost, you lose your flying typing, just for that turn. So let's go for another Drain Punch here. I don't see any reason not to. They do go for the Roost. They do go for the Roost. Which means this Drain Punch should still do a lot of damage. Yep, we're doing more than they can recover. That's great. That is great. So we can just continue to go for a Drain Punch here. Got all our health back, but this turn, I think they'll switch out. So I'm going to go for that Ice Punch, okay? They do. Are they going to go into the Landorus? Have we made a good predict here? Landorus comes in. Great. So I made the right prediction. Now, obviously, this isn't going to KO Landorus because of the Intimidate. But it'll still do a lot of damage, which is great. Ice Punch comes through like so. Now, the question is, I don't really have a good switch into Landorus right now. Unless you count Sunflora. But if they go for a U-turn, that's going to sting. I think the best thing to do here is to Terra. I really do. But then we're susceptible to the Stone Edge from the Tyranitar. I think they go for an EQ, even though they're going to lose their Landorus, so that they can get us in prime position to revenge kill us. Iron Hands is posing a bit of a threat to their team. Let's go for the Ice Punch again. I feel like that's the way to go. They go for an Earth Power, which is going to sting, but it doesn't do too much damage. As we go for another Ice Punch and take out that Landorus. So we finally got a KO on one of their Pokemon. This is turning out to be a pretty good game so far. So far, so good. Primarina comes in. Now, this thing is obviously a threat. I'm pretty sure we outspeed it, but I don't want to risk it for a Chocolate Biscuit. So if we assume they're going to go for either a Moonblast or a Flip Turn, we should go into Venusaur, but that kind of baits in the Tyranitar again, doesn't it? Really baits in that Tyranitar. Don't want to do that. I think I will go Umbreon here. And this is mainly a sack play. Mainly a sack play. That's for sure. So we'll go into Umbra real quick. They do go for a Psychic Noise. Interesting. So Psychic Noise is a very interesting move to go for. They obviously expected the Venusaur to come in. I'm guessing they don't have Ice Beam then. If they have Psychic Noise. Guessing they don't have Ice Beam. So if we go for a... If we go for a Toxic, that could be good. I am going to go for the Toxic. So we outspeed, obviously, because Primarina is very slow. Get that Toxic off, which is going to be really nice. We should be able to take a Moonblast from this thing, no problem. As they do go for a Moonblast, which is going to sting. But we do take it because we're an Umbreon and we are very bulky. So, with Umbreon's bulk on the field, I think we can defeat this Primarina. So, we're going to Toxic it, like we have done. And then what do we do? So, I could Terra to take the next Moonblast and go for a Wish, but then what? I'm leaning more towards switching out here. I think I'm going to go Venusaur. They probably expect us to switch out or go for Protect, right? So, if we do that, they probably go for a Psychic Noise. I think I'm going to risk a Wish, and if I lose Umbreon, I'll lose Umbreon. They do withdraw the Primarina. And they're going to go into the Excadrill. Interesting choice, for sure. Nice and shiny as well, gotta love it. So we go for that Wish. Now, here's the thing. We could really go into anything. The sunlight isn't up anymore, that's for sure. Or is it? I can never tell when we're inside a building like this. You check. We don't. Okay, that's good. So do we switch out or do we tank an Earthquake? They more than likely go for a Swords Dance though, right? I don't think they go for an Earthquake. I mean, we could always go Sunflora, but I don't want to lose anything just yet. If we assume they're going to go for an EQ, we should go Sunflora. If we assume they're going for an EQ, we should go Sunflora because Sunflora can take an Earthquake and then get the Wish back to full health. I'm hoping that's how it's going to play out anyway. So, in comes Lurpak to Sunflora. They do go for an EQ, as expected. It's going to sting, but we get all that health back. Like that. So, that's great. So, now, they might not expect this, but we could go for a Terra Ground Earth Power. Or just a regular. I think regular Earth Power is probably for the best because they probably switch out into the likes of the Corviknight or the Tyranitar. Tyranitar comes in, that's the best case scenario. Because if it was Corviknight, we obviously wouldn't do any damage to it with Earth Power. So we'll go for an Earth Power now. Like so. And that does a lot of damage still. Sunflora OP. Sunflora OP. Now, What do we do here? I'm leaning towards a sack Umbreon play so that we can get Torkoal in. I think that is the play to go for. So I'm going to go into Umbreon. Because they no doubt go for a knockoff, which we might live, but I think Sandstorm finishes off. So they do actually withdraw their Tyranitar outright. And they go back into Dragapult. Interesting choice. That's for sure. So we withdrawed and went into Umbreon. So they can definitely finish us off with a Draco Meteor, that's for sure. But do they want to do that? That's the real question. I'm leaning towards no. No, they probably just go straight for a Draco, right? Because but the lowered special attack gives us an Iron Hand switch, which would be nice. So I could Terra Fairy to be immune to the Draco Meteor, but I'm actually just going to go for the foul play because, yeah, they switch out anyway. They U-turn out on us, which is going to KO because of the critical hit. I'm pretty sure that mattered because that's a special attack from Dragapult, but it's no big deal because now we get a free switch in on whatever they come into. So let's see what they switch into real quick. Excadrill is their choice. In the sand, it's a deadly weapon, that's for sure. So with that in mind, we go Torkoal. I think Torkoal might be a good play. Torkoal could be a very good play, to be honest with you. Could be. I think I am going to go with the Torkoal play. Now, the reason being is because A, I want to get rid of the sand, because this thing is fast in the sand. It's very fast in the sand. That's for sure. B, I'm going to go straight into Venusaur now. Or do I sack Sunflora? Because they definitely go for an EQ, right? Because they get free damage off. Iron Hand's weak to it. Sunflora can't take 2. I think Sunflora is the way to go because we can take at least one of them and then we can outspeed and go for an Earth Power. And if they bring the Tyranitar in, like they did last time, then we're golden. So let's go for it. Sunflora will outspeed the Excadrill the next turn. We can definitely take one Earthquake unless it's a crit. There's the Earthquake. Watch us take it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we take it like a champ. And then all we need to do is go for... is Earth Power better? I think Earth Power is better because if the Tyranitar comes in. So I'm going to go for the Earth Power. They do withdraw. Are they going to go Tyranitar? That'd be ideal. Corviknight. So Corviknight comes in. Corviknight's probably thinking, hey, this is probably a good opportunity for me to get a Roost up. But I think Sunflora is going to have something to say about that. I really think Sunflora is going to have something to say about that. So let's go for that Weather Ball. And this will still hurt the Tyranitar if they bring that in as well. Won't be enough to KO it, but it should still sting. Weather Ball comes through. There we go. They did not expect the Weather Ball, or they were just sacking off the Corviknight. One of the two. Either way, we got rid of it, which is the ideal thing. As there we go, Lurpak goes down the thingy. So now I'm leaning towards Iron Hands. I would go Venusaur, but they probably go T-Tar here. So I think I am going to go Iron Hands. Iron Mittens over here, nice and shiny, gotta love it. Like so. And then they go Dragapult. Dragapult makes sense. Draco hits everything really hard on my team. Do I need Iron Hands for this game? I don't think I do. The Terra Flying would have been nice to catch the Excadrill off guard, but I think we're all right. So, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Decisions, eh? Decisions. I will go for an Ice Punch just because I feel like, yeah, they go for a Shadow Ball, which we may live. Probably not. No, we don't live. We don't live that. Iron Hands goes down. So that's unfortunate. The game is coming to a conclusion. We have little time left. And our best bet is Venusaur, who can't touch this Dragapult. So we'll go Venusaur real quick. They more than likely sack off T-Tar here. Or think they're sacking off T-Tar, but we have Solar Beam, so it's a bit of a meh. I think the best thing we can do here is to go for a Growth. Because they'd more than likely stay in and go for a Shadow Ball, which we should be able to take one of. Should be able to take one of those. Yeah, they are choice specs. They definitely would. They would have gone for a Draco if they could have there. Right, cool. So the Harsh Sun... Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah, that was a bad play on my part. Bad play on my part. I should have just gone for the attack. They go for another Shadow Ball. It's going to KO us. And then Torkoal is going to go down the next turn to a Shadow Ball from Dragapult as well. So you know, we didn't do too great this game. It was a good game, but in the end, my opponent just overwhelmed us. This team was unfortunately overwhelmed by the other sand team. Feels like we're having a lot of weather war battles recently. I'm just going to go for a body press. They go for a shadow ball anyway. So at least the battle actually concluded before the timer ran out, which is always nice. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next game. GG Glass Shadows. Okay, and for the next battle, we're going to be battling versus Trixie from the Discord server in the OU tier. Once again, go ahead and join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokemon Wi-Fi battles. I'm not even lying. It's the best place to go. Anyway, looking at the team, Cinderace, Haxorus, Forretress, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Galarian, Slowbro, and a Sylveon. Very nice stuff. So, Venusaur looks like it could put in some work here. Weather Ball hits the Forretress. They haven't got any weather cancelling things. We just need to get that Haxorus out of the way. And we also need to get the Cinderace weakened so we can Sludge Bomb it. So I think I'll lead off with Torkoal here. Get the Sun up straight away. And the Sun's going to be really good because it stops the Ogerpon from spamming Ivy Cudgel. Well, it doesn't stop it, but it weakens the power. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Trixie. So, they lead off with the Cinderace, nice and shiny, as we lead off with Torkoal. So, we're going to get some harsh sunlight up in here, even though it's nighttime. Makes sense, right? We could probably just go for a Stealth Rock here, but then again, they may have the Court Change, but they have a Rapid Spinner in Forretress, so I'm assuming they don't. So I'm going to get the Stealth Rocks up because they'll be very useful. They go for a U-turn. It's going to turn them into a Bug type to get that nice and powerful stab. Still just bounces off Torkoal, though, with its massive high defense stat. Not so high HP stat, but massive defense stat, that's for sure. So let's see what they go into. Barney comes in. That's going to be Slowbro, right? No, it's the Haxorus. I just thought because Barney's a purple dinosaur and Slowbro's purple and kind of looks like a dinosaur, even though obviously it's not a dinosaur. Anyway, Haxorus comes in. That's an interesting choice against my Torkoal. Now, I'm assuming they're going to go for an Earthquake here or a Dragon Dance, in which case we may be better off going into something like the Venusaur. Or the Gliscor could be good. Gliscor could be very good. We definitely want to do something here. I think I go Gliscor. Because Gliscor can threaten it a little bit with Earthquake. And also, we don't know what set this is. It could be Choice Banded, wanting to go for that Earthquake. It could be anything, really. It could be Dragon Dance. There's the Dragon Dance. This Haxorus just turned into a threat. Now, we don't have to worry too much, because they probably won't Dragon Dance again against the Gliscor. Because we can two-shot it with Earthquake. And 9 out of 10 times, Haxorus are Terra Steel, so they can't Terra. Well, they could. They might not actually be Terra Steel. They might be something different. I'm going to go for that EQ real quick. They do Terra. Oh, watch them be Terra Ice with Terra Blast. You watch. Just watch. Steel. Okay, no, that's fine. That means we're going to get a nice, super effective Earthquake. Because I'm confident we can take an Outrage from this thing, no problem. If they go for Outrage. They go for an Iron Head. Stab from the Terra. It's going to sting, but not too much. And we go for an EQ and put a stop to that Haxorus real quick, as that nearly KOs them, which is amazing. So this Poison Heal's going to come in clutch right now. And now I could go for a Protect, but I don't want to risk him going for another Dragon Dance expecting the Protect. So I'm going to go for a Knockoff. He just told me in Discord that they were expecting a Toxic as opposed to an Earthquake. So that's not worked out for him. That makes sense, though. Go Terra Steel to be immune to the Toxic, but, you know, not when I could easily go for an Earthquake. They go for another Iron Head. It's boosted by Terra. They have severely weakened my Gliscor, that's for sure, and we could flinch here. We don't know. We go for a Knockoff, take out that Haxorus, and that is going to be it for the Haxorus, I'm afraid. Barney the dinosaur goes down. Should have made it a custom purple texture just for the Barney reference, but how was I to know? How was I to know? In comes Speed Gambler. That's got to be the Slowbro. Yeah, it is. So they bring in another Pokemon weak to ground and dark. But this thing could have Quick Draw, which it probably does if it's called Speed Gambler. So I'm going to go ahead and make the safe play, and I'm going to go into my Umbreon, because they're definitely going to go for an Ice Beam or something along those lines. So let's go into Umbra real quick, the Umbreon. Nice, and Pokemon Coliseum. They go for a Psychic, which is obviously going to bounce off us, so I'm guessing they don't have Ice Beam. Would have definitely finished off our Gliscor, to be fair. And now I'm leaning towards Wish into Gliscor or Foul Play. I think Foul Play will do some decent damage. They get the Quick Draw, and that's going to give them a free Shell Sidearm, which is going to sting a little bit, but not too much. Not too much. Foul Play comes through. And Umbreon does a lot of damage there. Nice. That's what we like to see. Some nice damage from the foul play. Umbreon putting in the work right now. Gotta love it. You gotta love it. So let's go for a foul play real quick again. There's no reason not to, as we can easily take out this Slowbro with a foul play now. They do withdraw, though, because they know that. Are they going to go into the Forretress? Nugget. That's got to be the Forretress, right? Nice and shiny as well. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. We go for a foul play. It's going to sting, not much, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Now, this thing could easily go for a... Oh, it's red card. I was going to say I'm going to stay in and taunt this thing, but I guess we're not. We're going to get dragged out into something instead. And it's the Venusaur, luckily. Now, I say luckily because we have the Weather Ball, which in harsh sunlight becomes a fire type move. So we go for a Weather Ball here. They do not have the best switching in the world. They kind of have to let the Forretress go down. Sylveon gets bodied by the Venusaur with a Sludge Bomb. They can't Terra. Ogerpon goes down to a Sludge Bomb. Forretress goes down to a Weather Ball. Slowbro goes down to a Weather Ball. And Cinderace goes down to a Sludge Bomb. Maybe, not really. But the sunlight is going to fade, which means this is prime time for their Cinderace to come in. Cristiano comes in, which is the Cinderace. Nice and football reference right there. Or, sorry, soccer for you Americans out there. Let's go for a Torkoal switch. I don't see any reason not to. Reset the sun. Why not? And then we can bring Sunflora in and go for an Earth Power, which would be nice. So there's Torkoal coming in, like so. They probably go for a U-turn here. No, I think they go straight for the kill. They go for the Power Ball. Then they go for a U-turn. Okay, so fair enough. So that's going to turn him into a Bug Tag, give him some nice stab on my Torkoal, but we eat it up just like we did the first turn. As Cinderace has got not a prayer in the world. In comes the Masked Singer, which is going to be the Ogerpon, right? Yeah, now as confident as I am that we can take an Ivy Cudgel from this thing, I don't want to have to. So I'm going to make a different play. I'm going to sack off Gliscor here so we get a free switch into Venusaur. There we go, withdrawing Torkoal. We'll keep it for later just in case we need to reset the sun, but I think Venusaur may have this. If we can sack off this Gliscor, get a free switch into it. Because I don't want to take any unnecessary damage. Ivy Cudgel comes through though. In the sun, it's weakened, but it's still too much for Gliscor at the current HP it was at. And it was a crit. Not that I don't think the crit mattered. Definitely didn't matter. So, now that we've established that, let's go into our Venusaur. Venusaur is the key element to winning this game. I recognize that from the very get-go. The only thing that could really stop it is a quick draw Psychic from the Slowbro. So let's go for a Sludge Bomb. They more than likely switch into Slowbro here. They do. They withdraw. Are they going to go Slowbro? I would. Speed Gambler comes in. That can definitely take a Sludge Bomb from the health it's at. I'm sure it can. I'm sure. And then again, after Stealth Rocks, maybe not. Sludge Bomb comes through. No, he can't. Venusaur is just too strong. Venusaur in the sun is ridiculous. Venusaur in the sun is proper ridiculous. Now, Cinderace can come in now. We don't KO with Sludge Bomb. Unless... No, I think we might do. But they can probably go for a Sucker Punch here. So, I am going to go for the Sludge Bomb anyway. Because at the end of the day, if they Sucker Punch, we can still live. I think Venusaur cleans this up, though, nicely. Sludge Bomb comes through. And down goes the Cinderace. I don't know if there's anything they can really do now. Sylveon, if it's a specially defensive build, can take a hit, but it can't really touch us in return. Hyper Voice will bounce right off Venusaur. So in comes the Masked Singer once again, the Ogerpon. We aren't boosted. We are heavy-duty boots. We're not Life Orb or anything. So there is always a chance that Sludge Bomb won't KO. But I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does. Spiky Shield. They're stalling out the sun. Makes sense. It's probably their best play, to be fair. Stall out that sun for as long as they can. But if you're going to stall out the sun, I would have kept the Cinderace around. Then again, we have Torkoal. So let's go for a Sludge Bomb once again. And as long as they don't get a double Spiky Shield, then we should be alright. There we go. They go for another Spiky Shield, but it unfortunately fails for them as it usually does. Sludge Bomb comes through. Down goes the Ogerpon, like so. And I don't think the sun wears off this turn anyway, right? I think we still got another couple turns. Hubba Bubba comes in. That is going to be the Sylveon. Nice and shiny as well. You may notice I haven't changed Sylveon's shiny. That's because I like it. It's a good shiny. Let's go for a Sludge Bomb real quick. Should do the job. Oh, they go for the Protect, stalling out the sun still. Interesting. And also to get some more leftovers recovery, I'm guessing. But it just kind of feels like they're prolonging the inevitable Venusaur domination. So let's go for a Sludge Bomb once again. They could have Psy Shock. That's a move that the Sylveon could have. if they can live. They go for a second Protect, though. Unfortunately, it's not going to work, as Sludge Bomb should not take the Sylveon out. But the Harsh Sunlight does fade. But it's fine. We can just go for a Sludge Bomb again. There's no real reason not to. There we go. We outspeed still because we're a Venusaur with max speed. And down goes the Sylveon. And that's going to be the game. So GG Trixie. That was a pretty fun one. We got to see Venusaur putting in some absolute work. Definitely worth putting that in the thumbnail. That's definitely true. So GG Trixie. That was a fun one. But anyway, here's the team. Try it out if you want to. Use the code at the top right corner of the screen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.